Hey guys and gals, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this short video, I'm going to show you how to set up something that's super important, and that is your ClickHub's email domain. So whether you're using ClickHubs or HighLevel, it's going to be the same. But what happens is when you first create your account, there's just a generic domain that's used to send out emails on behalf of you through our platform, and that domain is shared across all the HighLevel users. You can better believe there's a ton of people that are not using best practices, that are sending out spam and things like that. And so if you don't do this step, there's going to be a very high chance that your emails are going to be going to spam instead of making it to the inbox. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use your own domain to set that up so that you can use your domain to send your own emails, and that way you're not sharing that domain across thousands and thousands of other people. So let's just jump into it. But before we do, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. And if you leave a comment, we reply to every comment. So I will see you on the other side. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your email sending domain. What that does is ClickHubs has a very powerful way of sending emails to your customers, your leads, things like that. And there's several different ways to do that through the platform. You can have direct conversations. You can also do marketing, such as email campaigns, newsletters, and things like that. You can also do it via automations. And so in order to send that on behalf of your domain, we have to set up email domains inside of here. That's going to allow us to do that. And it will also allow you to pull those conversations into your Gmail or Microsoft accounts if you're using those as well. So we're going to go into settings and email services. And so you can see here, it gives a warning that you should create a dedicated domain to improve your email deliverability. Definitely, if you don't do this, I guarantee you're going to have a lot of emails going to spam. So we want to do this as a priority. So you can either click create dedicated domain here, or you can come in here and click the dedicated domain and IP. And so dedicated IPs, you have the option of purchasing a dedicated IP. I don't recommend doing this unless you're sending a ton of emails. If you're sending over 100,000 emails a month, you can consider paying for a dedicated IP. Otherwise, I would not do that. And so now we're just going to come in here and add a domain. And so the other note, again, that's super important is for your email, you want to make sure, I'm just going to type this here, you want to make sure that your email is not like clickhubs@gmail.com, because this gmail.com is not going to match your domain, and it's going to cause problems with Google, Yahoo specifically. So instead of this, you would want to have something like Tony@clickhubs.io. You want to make sure that you have a business domain that matches the domain that we're using on the platform. And so in this case, we have benefits2.ca. So we want to make sure that we have an @benefits2.ca email set up for our business, in which case we do have that here. And then our domain is going to be something like, could be, really we're going to use any subdomain like MG, or it could be mail if you're not using that already. So I'm just going to use MG because we're using Mailgun to power this on the platform in the back end. And that's who is our SMTP provider. What that means is that's the technology that's sending the email across the internet. And so, for example, then we could have something like Tony@mg.benefits2.ca. And when we're sending emails on behalf of your benefits2.ca, it's going to use this MG in front of it. And that way it's going to be seamless with your domain, and it's not going to cause any deliverability issues. Google's going to recognize this as part of your branding. So we're safe here to do that. So in this case, we're just going to use MG as the subdomain, and then we're going to use our main business domain for email sending. And then we're just going to add and verify. And again, assuming you're using Cloudflare for your DNS records, this is going to automatically connect to Cloudflare and add these records. So it's much easier than in the past where you manually add all these records. So we'll just click continue, and we'll authorize the domain. So these are all the records that we're going to add for this email. And so this is going to allow us to send emails as a middleman through our domain. So we're going to authorize these. Take a little bit of time, and now you can see it says not verified. Before I verify these, I want to add one additional record which is optional, and that's this DMARC. So you can see here we already have a DMARC for our root domain, which is absolutely necessary these days, and it's basically this, the kind of the minimum format that you would use is DMARC1 p equals none. And then this isn't really a video about DMARC setup, but as you start using email more, you would want to change this none to some different things, and that way it just gives you better verification on your email sending. better for security, but we want to make sure we have this set up. So this is set up on the main domain, but we also can set it up on the subdomain, which in this case we're recommending here. And so we want to copy this part here, and then we're going to add this record, and it's going to be a text record. And the only reason this isn't added already is just because it's optional. Since we have it on the domain, we don't necessarily need it on the subdomain, but this gives us better tracking, and so we recommend doing that. So come back here now, and for the content, we just paste that. And then here, I'm going to say ClickHub's email, and then save. Okay, there we go. So that one went through, and now you can see we've got our notes here and everything's set up. So now we come back into ClickHubs, and we're just going to click Verify Domain. A lot of times you have to do this several times. It'll go back and forth. Maybe a couple of these will be verified, some won't. So you can see this bottom one is not verified yet. So I'm just going to go back to dedicated domains, and now you can see I have my dedicated domain here, but it's inactive. And so we're just going to click verify now. We're just going to continue to do this until everything is verified. So you can see this one is still not verified. It may take a little time, but I'll just click verified domain here, and it says still not verified. So now you can see the bottom one's verified, but the top ones aren't. So sometimes you just have to do a little back and forth, or if you're just patient, you can leave for 15 minutes and come back. And now we'll click here. We can see everything is verified here. So now we just have to confirm and verify the domain for the final verification. So now you can see we have our SSL issued. That's our security certificate. It's active. Everything is good here. So now one final step we want to do is we want to set a default header. This is what's going to be the default sender from this domain. So any email that's being sent through here is going to show the name it's from and the email. So let's grab that. Okay, so we're going to click the three dots here, and we're going to set the headers. And then here, I'm just going to say the name, and then I'm going to say the email, Christine@benefits2.ca. And so again, because we're using a subdomain, which is mg.benefits, it doesn't matter. We can still send this email from benefits2.ca. And as long as the main domain matches, then Google is going to be okay with that, and the other email inboxes as well. So, and now you can see our default headers here. So no matter who we say we're sending it from or what part of the platform, it's always going to use this as a default to ensure that it's being deliverable. And so that's really important to set that up. And the final thing to go over here is we have some additional settings here. You can again verify your domain here. You can assign an IP. So that's only if you have a dedicated IP. And again, if you're not sending more than 100,000 emails a month, I would not worry about this. Set headers, that's what we just did here as the default from name and email. And then domain settings, you have the option of setting some of your tracking in the emails. So click tracking, which will check for links and rewrite them so that you can track who's opened the links and things like that, as well as open tracking and things like that. So if you don't want to have that for privacy purposes, you can disable those here. And then finally, SMTP settings. This is also a paid feature. Most of you are not using this, so we just won't get into this here, but we'll have some other videos on that as well. And then the final thing I wanted to say is if you come into domain configuration, you see we have our default dedicated domain here. You can actually, if you're sending a lot of emails, you can actually have different subdomains set up here. So if you wanted to set up one for workflow, you might have a w.benefit2.ca. And then if you wanted to have one-on-one conversations, you might have a c.benefits2.ca. And the purpose of having this is it allows you to spread the risk around. So let's say in my workflow domain, I had 3 or 4 different domains set up here. Let's say I had 4 and each one of those was handling 25% of the sending. If one of them got flagged and a lot of people thought it was spam and then Google marked that domain as spam, then we could delete that and it would still send to the other 3. And so that way you're kind of mitigating your risk a little bit. I'm just going to leave this here to the main one for now. And then if this is something that we decide we're going to set up in the future, we can come in here and add additional email subdomains, and then we can kind of spread our risk around. And again, in order to do that, you would just add another domain and you would just change this MG part to whatever you want it to be for that. And then you can come in here and decide which subdomain is going to work with which part of our platform. So for example, bulk email domain versus one-on-one conversations, you may handle those different. So you may want to set up another subdomain for bulk emails because you're sending a lot more versus one-on-one domains you may not be that concerned about. So I definitely recommend setting those up if you're doing a lot of emailing, but for the purpose of this video, we'll just leave it there for now. And that's really it for emails. And so the final thing is I want to come in here and then we're going to refresh this page. we can see that we've got a bunch of new records added. So anything with MG here. And then I just want to come in here and add my comments, which is ClickHub's email to all of these. It's just going to be easier for me to manage, make sure I'm not accidentally deleting domains that I need. So we've got those. We also have our DMARC and then our main MG here. So we'll set this one up as well. And then finally, we have this domain key.mg. So that's also an email that we want to add a comment to, ClickHub's email. Okay, so now if you hover over these, you can see these are ClickHub's emails set up. And I believe we got all of them there. And that is up. We got one more here, email.mg. So let's just take care of that, add a comment there. So it just takes a minute to add the comments, but it will save you a lot of time ongoing. Every time you come in here, you have those comments. So I recommend doing that always. So there are a lot of things you can do to make sure your emails get into the delivery box, but this is very simple to set up. And one of the most important things that you need to do in order to properly send your emails from ClickHubs or from your HighLevel account if you're using a different provider. So really, if you're sending emails, make sure you follow this tutorial and get your email set up. Again, it's very simple to do. It just takes a couple minutes. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave a comment, and we will make sure to reply to you. So I will see you in the next video.